So, Alexander Usyk once again defeats Tyson Fury, defending his heavyweight titles and undefeated status. And personally, I did think it was a good fight. I don't think it really maybe lived up to the expectations of the last one. And overall, I think Fury had to make the adjustments in this fight. I think, right from that first round, he kind of set the tone by coming to the center of the ring and just holding his feet a lot earlier and trying to use his pressure and his jab to kind of dictate the pace and kind of keep Usyk at bay. But I think one of the things that really stood out to me in those kind of early rounds and throughout the fight itself as well was just Usyk's body work. It was absolutely sensational, I thought. And you guys will know that body punching at this level is definitely an investment, and I think it paid dividends for Usyk later down the line when he was setting up those looping left hands up top. And even at times I felt Fury looked quite uncomfortable when he took those body shots. It wasn't really until round 3 we saw Fury just being that little bit more aggressive, being able to push Usyk back. Fury even turned into southpaw for a moment, and Usyk kind of had to get his bearings for a second. It was quite interesting, but I believe there was one moment in the fight where he did turn southpaw, and then Usyk was able to land a huge left hand on him, and I think after that he kind of changed his mind in using that strategy and looked more to set up those quick body shots and then even the right hand. And overall, I just think, I think it was the right tactics from Fury to kind of hold his ground a bit more, and in the clinch I think he was a bit better as well. Still, I think Usyk was able to nullify him in those positions and not really let him get anything off. And both of them were, taking their opportunity when they were on the inside. They would have a wee body shot before the ref would break them. And yeah, I think the standout round for me was really round 5 for Fury, where he all of a sudden really just came to life, and you kind of thought at that point in the fight that he was going to maybe push on from there and really start to put it on Alexander Usyk, but for whatever reason he didn't. And then round 6, Usyk kind of took the bull by its horns and just took control of the fight once again. And I think, it was interesting, and I'll cover this in a sec, just looking at the Jabber AI punch stats. And it's very clear that Usyk won the fight if you're going off the numbers like this. And it's just so evident, I think by round 6, Usyk was really just taking control of the fight, in my opinion, with his work rate, footwork, and then his punch selection going to the body. And then, like I said, I really don't think it was starting to hurt him, while making Fury pretty uncomfortable at times. But credit to Tyson, he came back in rounds 9 and 10 and kind of dug deep. He was a lot more economical with his style compared to the first fight. But the thing is, I actually think the first fight was a lot closer than this one. And just going off the scorecards and everything else, I do think it was a pretty clear Usyk win. I just think he was consistent throughout the whole fight, and he was landing the far cleaner shots on Fury consistently. I think it was round 11, he landed 5 big left hands on Fury at one point, and Fury would maybe land 1 or 2 good body shots, but that wasn't enough for me. I think he just had to have a bit more output, and he very much worked in bursts, and unfortunately that is not going to win you those types of fights. I think you need to match them in terms of the work your opponent's doing, and Usyk is one of the best at doing that. And I think there was only really like 1 or 2 rounds where I kind of thought Usyk might be fading, and maybe rounds 9 I thought, he looks like he could be tiring here, but we've seen it so often in the past. This happens with him. He might take a round or 2 off, and he doesn't necessarily take them off. He's still working incredibly hard to put the pressure on. And I just think Fury didn't capitalise when he was maybe starting to tire. But we've got to be honest, he's an absolute master in the ring. He is incredible. And especially that last round, I really do think he hurt him, and you kind of got the feeling that if he just pushed it a little bit more, he could have maybe got the finish. But I don't think at that point it was worth it. I think he probably knew he was ahead just from his output, and I just don't get it. I think, yes, standing your ground and landing some body shots and landing the occasional right hand is going to grab some attention, but I just don't think Fury was consistent enough and was a bit more reactive, kind of waiting to punish Usyk when he committed with his attacks. But Usyk kind of caught on to this and then was able to counter him back straight away, and that made Fury look kind of hesitant at times, in my opinion. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the jabber stats. And as you can see, Usyk landed 183 compared to Fury's 117, and 57 high impact punches compared to Tyson Fury's 12. And that's what I saw in the fight. I just saw cleaner punches landing on Tyson Fury, especially those left hands towards the end of the fight. That the bodywork from Usyk definitely worked early on in the fight in terms of lowering Fury's guard, so then he was able to land those left hands up top. And I guess the surprising thing for me was that Fury actually threw more punches. It seemed like Usyk was throwing more when I was watching it, but I guess it's just that use of the lead hand, that fencing lead hand that he uses to put the pressure. Sometimes it looks like he's punching, but he's just feinting with it all the time. And I was quite surprised by that stat, seeing that. And I guess the pressure, that makes sense. I think Fury was more aggressive as well and stood his ground more. But overall, Usyk was the one that actually pushed back Tyson Fury more in this fight. And even when you're looking at the stats round by round, it's so clearly in favour of Alexander Usyk in terms of the punches he was actually landing. I think obviously Fury's two best rounds were probably round 5 and 10, and it makes sense that he probably won those rounds, just due to the aggression and the fact he landed some big punches in those moments. But yeah, it was really few and far between in my opinion. Personally, I just think it was a really deserving win from Alexander Usyk. I can understand some people giving some swing rounds in there, but even those closer swing rounds, I'm really struggling to give it to Fury at times, just because he wasn't landing as much as Usyk was, and more effectively. But yeah, overall I thought it was a really good fight. Definitely a bit more cagier. Obviously they'd been in the ring together already, so they kind of knew what to expect a bit more, and maybe explains why it was a bit more cagey at times in this fight. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about what should happen next. I think Alexander Usyk, the world's his oyster. He can pretty much choose who he wants. Daniel Dubois, I called him out after the fight. I don't necessarily know if I want to see that fight again, but maybe that has to happen again and he can become undisputed once again at heavyweight. For Tyson Fury, well, he's done everything that he can in this sport, I think. Obviously now it doesn't really make any sense to make a trilogy fight with Tyson Fury now, in my opinion. Could he maybe still get that fight with Joshua and they have their encore fight, I guess? I know both are kind of past their primes now, but I still think just the build up and also the legacy for both guys to have that on their record would be an attractive fight to see. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know. As always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.